Okay, let's get straight to the point. Let's talk about this news story coming out of Seattle, Washington. So they had an incident that happened in front of a Starbucks, and I want to say this is called like the boardwalk area. You know, Starbucks is just a place where you go get your coffee, maybe work remote, use the Wi-Fi, chit chat with friends. And then in this area of the boardwalk, it's clearly one of those places where you go to and everybody just out there walking and just enjoying themselves, kind of getting them a breeze and getting out the house. Well, 2 weeks ago, around August the 5th, these two individuals had a confrontation that was heated. To the left is a retired Navy veteran named Harold Powell. And to the right is a 32-year-old young man that goes by the name Gregory Tim. And we're going to get more into this story. So, like I say, 2 weeks ago, they had a heated altercation that led to this right here, what you see in this picture. This is, to the right, that's blurred out, that is Harold Powell. He is in a wheelchair. I want to say he's 68 years old. And of course, to the left, blurred out, is Gregory Tim with a blicky in his hand. These two, on a bright sunny day, got into it over a stolen Valor that turned into shots ringing out and people scattering everywhere like hash browns. Let's get into this news clip. Let's go.
All right, everybody. Show me your ID. Fucking gun on me. Show me your ID. Pull a gun on me. Pull a gun on me. Put it away, sir. All right, everybody, I apologize. Pull a gun on me.
I don't know who this guy think he is. This is Greg Tim. Now, y'all just heard some of the audio and seen part of the video of what happened. And after he didn't sit up here and shot someone, he's out there telling people, hey, everybody, everything is fine. So what are you? You a shooter and a therapist now? You can't be both. How you gonna tell people everything is gonna be okay and it's fine and point at the guy saying, oh, he did this, he did that? People are just walking around, minding their business, drinking coffee, eating donuts, snacking, whatever, and boom, 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 boom. Out of nowhere, they hear a shot and look around, you standing there, then shot somebody and telling people that it's okay. No, it's not. But let's keep getting into more of what occurred and what happened that led to this. Let's go.
Court documents say an elderly man in a wheelchair wearing a military patch was asking for money, but prosecutors say 32-year-old Gregory Tim confronted him and ripped his patch off, demanding he prove his veteran status. They say the victim pulled out a large knife, then a holstered airsoft gun before Tim shot him in the chest.
And then there was the old man in the wheelchair. The old man had gotten shot.
He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Tim is now being held in jail on $750,000 bail.
If you're the one who's the first aggressor who provokes an altercation, you lose the right to claim self-defense effectively under state law.
More shock, I think, than anything else. I got hit really hard right in the chest, right here, real close.
Harold Powell tells me he's grateful to live another day where prosecutors say the suspect, 32-year-old Gregory Tim, fired a gun at Powell's chest.
Right here's a bullet hole.
Powell thought that was the end for him.
I just went to, I'm gonna die, so let me call my family. The heck with everything else. That's just all I thought. I didn't worry about nothing else.
Powell, a Navy veteran who is also disabled, says it happened while he was busking on the waterfront like he has been for the past 30 years. He says the suspect walked up to him and accused him of stolen valor. So Powell offered to show him his military ID. But before he could get to it, he said it was too late.
I practiced being in bad situations all my life. Especially being on a submarine, you just gotta be ready not to, if you have to face that moment, you gotta practice.
Tim was arrested, but Powell says he hasn't given him much thought since then.
I refuse to complain, and I'm not gonna let this guy, nothing about this guy live in my mind for rent free.
So I'm going to give my honest opinion on this whole situation. Some may not like it, some may do, but we got to keep it real. So we done seen the news clips and heard what happened between Harold Powell, who is a retired veteran in a wheelchair, 68 years old, and Gregory Tim, who is 32. So now, according to reports and court documents, and I'm assuming witnesses on the scene, they got into it. It seems that Gregory Tim was the aggressor and the stolen veil took the patch off or whatever. But at some point, Harold Powell, you can see in the video, he rolled up on him. And these days, you got to be careful who you pull up on and you got to be careful who you roll up on. And according to reports, he had a knife and pulled out an airsoft gun. Now, I'm not saying what's right. I'm not saying, what's wrong. But I'm going to say this. Yes, it's bad that a 68-year-old man was shot and he's in a wheelchair. He can't get up. He can't do nothing. But he also has to be mindful. You already have a guy that's aggressive. And even though I get it, he took something from you and you want it back. But you almost lost your life over that. But maybe Harold was thinking that he's a veteran, he's an elderly statesman. He was going to pull up on him. He's going to pull out his blade. And it was just going to be that. And unfortunately, he ended up having an altercation with somebody that was just as crazy as he was and was ready to take it to the next level. That's what happened in this case, people. Gregory Tim was wrong. But you also got to think about his mindset. Oh, okay, then old man about to pull up on me. He reaching, he pulling out a blade. He pulling out this. Probably some little gadgets that, the old man had with him just to protect himself while he's in his wheelchair riding around. But like the saying is, once you pull out anything that show that you some type of threat or whatever, people are going to have reaction. Now, clearly, Greg Tim is a little loose up there and some screws in the top and probably shouldn't even be on the streets. But this situation could have been avoided by both of them going their separate ways. But clearly, Greg Tim was looking for some drama. He's out here with a backpack with a blicky in it. And old man eventually just ended up, just being it just happened up to be him that day. They got into it with this guy. So to a lot of the older veterans, or a lot of the older people, some of y'all got some bad attitudes now. And not just veterans. Some of you older people got some bad attitudes. But we living in a generation these days where people do not respect their elders. And y'all elderly people have to realize and come to terms with that your age do not exempt you anymore like it did back in the days where people say, oh, no, I'm bad, my bad, sir. People will look out for you. They're not doing that no more. But this Greg Tim guy, he is from Iowa. That's where he's originally from. But he ended up moving to Florida. So before he was in Seattle, he was living in Florida. And let's just say that Greg Tim is no stranger to being in handcuffs because he's been in trouble before. Back in 2020, Greg Tim was actually arrested for aggravated assault because on February 8, 2020, a dispute was reported by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office out there in Duval, Jacksonville, Florida, at a Walmart. I want to say on Atlantic Boulevard, where somebody had drove their van into a Trump for President tent while they was doing voter registration. And the person who drove their van into the tent was Greg Tim. Let's get into the news story and everything that went down with that. Let's go.
27-year-old Gregory Tim made his first court appearance yesterday. Police say he even started recording before taking off after the crash. That crash got the attention of President Trump.
Today, the Republican Party of Duval County, along with Mayor Lenny Curry, held a news conference to address one of their tents being rammed into by a van over the weekend. 27-year-old Gregory Tim is sitting in jail after police say he ran into a Republican voter registration tent. Several people in the Republican Party of Duval County were registering people to vote when this van rammed into the tent, leaving this behind. I asked the mayor if he believes this is politically motivated, despite police not laying that out in their report.
This individual drove up to a tent that was clearly registering voters with Donald Trump's name and attire around them and drove a vehicle at volunteers. So that's what we know at this point. Looks like a political attack to me.
No one was hurt in the incident, but Tim was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault on a person 65 years or older, criminal mischief, and driving with a suspended license. This is video of him in court smirking and nodding to our cameras.
President Trump even reacted to it, writing, quote, "Be careful, tough guys, who you play with." Tim explained his motive in court.
I honestly felt it was almost my duty to say something.
Why do you think it was your duty?
I thought it was somebody's duty, because the only reason that this administration was getting away with these atrocious crimes is because we were rolling over and taking it. Okay. So how far are they going to push the American public?
This dude right here has some issues. In Florida, 5 years ago, he is running his van through a tent where people trying to do voter registration during the Donald Trump for president campaign with Mike Pence. And then here we are 5 years later, he didn't move to Seattle, I'm assuming. He didn't move to Seattle, and then he didn't shot somebody. A 68-year-old veteran that's in a wheelchair. Thankful, though, this didn't turn out to be a situation where someone was rest in peace. You know, Harold Power ended up surviving, so he get a chance to, you know, live again. But hopefully, you know, he make a better decision on, you know, even rolling up on somebody or even allegedly putting out a blade or airsoft gun or whatever. Don't do none of that. Because like I say, this generation do not respect the elderly, the older people. It's none of that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm not going to bother him. No, because Greg Tim should have walked away from that situation. Despite if, you know, he pulled out a blade or whatever, you are on 2 feet and he's in a wheelchair. You can outrun him and get away with no problem. You didn't even have to go to that. This dude has some issues. He got a slap on the wrist for the whole Donald Trump thing that made Donald Trump respond. Now, he might be in some hot water this time. For real. He might be going away for a couple of years because this could have been bad. And if they don't do something with him this time, you clearly already see a pattern of this guy's behavior. The next time may be really bad. So they better do something now. But y'all get in the comments, tell me what y'all think about this whole thing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share my video. I'm Gertie Mac. Holla.